How's it going? Chris Graham here for Wheeler Betting. Time to talk Premier League football. It's back after the international break. 2 out of 3 last time. I was pretty pleased with that. Man City unbelievably letting me down for a full house, failing to beat Stoke full stop. Certainly failing to beat Stoke to 0. So that was disappointing. But the other two bigger price selections came in, ironically enough. 3 more this week, and that's another tough week in the coupon. I found it hard to come up with 3 here, and of course you've got the international break as well. How will that affect the players? I've done a wee bit of research on that. First up, it's the top 2, 9 points out of 9, maximum points for Chelsea and Swansea so far in the Premier League. And I think, just looking at the odds here, I just think, you might think I'm crazy, but when I see prices of Swansea at 9 to 1 to win at Stamford Bridge, for me, you can laugh all you want, but I think that's probably a bit short. I just like the idea of taking on teams that are fashionable at the moment, and Swansea are. Gary Monk's had a smashing start to the season, but I think betting's all about taking on short-term views. And actually, if you look at the results they've produced, obviously a great win against Man United, but a shambolic Man United side, and there's no doubt about that. It's just a complete mess. Then they beat Burnley and West Brom at home. Now I think Burnley and West Brom will be in the bottom 4, bottom 5 at the end of the season. So effectively, they should be winning games like that. So it's 9 points out of 9, but the fixture list so far has been kind. But big respect to Gary Monk. I like what that guy's about. And I've got to be with Chelsea here, because Chelsea, similar position. They've beaten Burnley and Leicester, two sides who they should have beaten quite easily. But of course, they beat Everton in an epic game 2 weeks ago, 6-3. There was negatives, of course, but there's a lot of positives in that game. Diego Costa looks a real match for the Premier League. Says Fabregas is slotted right back in to the tempo of this league, and they look a really, really good side. There's no doubt about that. The Costa might play on Saturday. He withdrew for the Spain squad midweek. He might be playing on Saturday. They told us he would have been playing against Everton 2 weeks ago when he played. So hopefully he'll play on Saturday. If he doesn't like Remy, I presume he'll come in and he'll be wanting to make a stand in what will be his first game for the club. My angle here is Chelsea -1, to be honest. I'll just get to the point. Chelsea -1 for me. That's caught 3 times out of 3 this season, and I think they're good enough to win by a clear goal in this match. It's at home at Stamford Bridge. Swansea, like I say, they've been impressive, but the part, Man United, we've seen the shambles that they have been, and then they've beaten Burnley and West Brom at home. So we might be looking into that too much. I don't know, but one of my mottos in betting is to take on short-term views. So Chelsea -1, it's a shade of odds on 11 and 13 with 888 Sport. Judge on that what you think. Game 2 a lot more straightforward here, and I got caught out placing this bet in week 1 of the season when Stoke were at home at Aston Villa, and inexplicably they lost 1-0 that day. Since then, they've improved, and they're playing Leicester at home this weekend, this Saturday, and I'm backing Stoke to win at odds against, which I'm surprised about. They've gradually got better this season. Of course, they lost to Aston Villa on week 1. Then I think they drew with Hull, didn't they, in week 2, and then of course they got that fantastic result 2 weeks ago. The result of the season so far against Stoke, against Manchester City, winning at the Etihad, absolutely incredible result there. You just imagine what the confidence that they'll have taken for that game. It's bound to be it's quite a lot there. I think Mark Hughes will have them drilled for this game. Leicester, of course, we've all been impressed by Leicester. There's no doubt about that. They've got draws against Everton and Arsenal, and they held Chelsea for I think 50-55 minutes in that match before succumbing 2-0. So it's difficult to have a pop at Leicester here, but I just think Stoke at home, odds against. They've won 5 of the last 7 home games. They took 7 points out of 9 at home against promoted sides last year. I just think, I think the price is attractive. I thought it'd be 10. I priced it up at 10-11 when I looked at the Premier League odds, so to get 23 to 20, that's generally across the board. I have to get involved from a price point of view. Stoke at home against a promoted side, odds against, that's enough for me. Game 3, again, it's tough. None of these are big stakes for me, to be honest, but I've got Liverpool against Aston Villa. I've gone with Liverpool to win it now, and you can laugh what you want. I don't know. Aston Villa in the top 3, we know that they've had a good start to the season. They beat Stoke in week 1, like I mentioned. They drew with Newcastle in a terrible 0-0 game, and then they beat Hull after the Europa League, which I think is quite crucial. Hull had come back for Belgium, or playing against Lokeren in the Europa League, but they beat them. But they've scored just 3 goals. They've only scored 3 times this season, which is less than Crystal Palace, who are 16 places beneath them in the table. I appreciate it's only September, it's early days, but just 3 goals in their last 5 Premier League games overall. So they don't score many goals, Aston Villa, and I still think, despite the fact they're in the top 3 at the moment, they definitely could be in the bottom 3 at the end of the season. I'm sticking by that. And I think Liverpool, we expect them to win here. The short odds to win as usual, but absolutely fantastic display against Spurs 2 weeks ago. Very, very emphatic 3-0 win that day. The suggestions that the defence was getting sorted, because let's be honest, the defence was pretty dodgy last season. You can see more goals than Crystal Palace, but bringing in Lovren, last Sunday against Spurs, they looked pretty solid, and I'm taking that, what I saw that day 2 weeks ago, into this game, and that's why I'm backing them to win to 0. Just worth saying, Liverpool have had 1 blank since November the 2nd, 2013. That day they lost 2-0 to Arsenal. They then scored in every single game, apart from, crucially, that game against Chelsea in April, which cost them the title, let's be honest, when they got beat 2-0. So they've scored in 30 of their last 31 games. It looks like the defence has been strengthened. I'm banking on that. I'm relying on that for this bet. It's 11 to 10 with Paddy Power. Liverpool to win to 0 against Aston Villa on Saturday. My third and final bet. I don't know what you guys think, but my 3: Chelsea -1 against Swansea, Stoke to beat Leicester, and Liverpool to win to 0 against Aston Villa. Have a great weekend.